Yeah, my name is Smaran. I focus on voice first AI solutions for small to medium sized businesses. And the way I got into this, I guess, I was always in tech. I graduated in mechanical engineering, a certificate in computing, and I've always been interested in the software side. But I realized mechanical engineering jobs really weren't for me. They were like the job opportunities I got after graduating UGA were like in some factory in the middle of nowhere, where
Yeah.
you're waking up at 6 a.m., 6 a.m., 4 p.m. every day, 5 days a week, and literally middle of nowhere. I'm like, I need some human connection in my life, right?
Yeah.
And my college experience made me realize that I wanted to be client facing. I wanted to be business facing, more and also involved in tech. So I went into consulting instead, tech consulting, and I did enjoy that a lot. Gave me an idea of how businesses run, and did that for about a year and a half. And that around end of last year, 2024, is when AI really started popping off, and it
Yeah.
started becoming a big deal. It's funny because AI has kind of always been a big deal for people in the industry, but in the back end.
Yeah.
But when ChatGPT came out, when I was in college, kind of when you're in college too, like that's when people started, the normal consumer started becoming aware of what AI is really capable of. Before that, it was just an ML class, like, oh, machine learning, oh, that's cool. I guess that's going to be relevant at some point in the future. But when ChatGPT comes out, it's like when it's like, wow, this is insane. I remember I was one of the first guys to like show all my friends ChatGPT and show them like how to use it and why it's cool. Like, look, you can write this poem, and now you can just say write about this, and just changes the whole poem. And it was
Yeah.
like the most mind blowing thing. And I remember I wanted to be a part of it, but I didn't want to. I wanted to bring value out of it, which was the hardest part because people already found so much value out of it, but businesses I felt did not really care so much about it. Like there's so much more to AI than just writing your emails. How
Yeah.
can we use this amazing tool that's only going to get better to actually bring businesses value? So that's something that I had to like really take a step back and try to figure out, which kind of got me into this industry.
Okay. So, what exactly is it that you guys, or I mean, is it you and somebody else, or do you have like a whole team?
Yeah, I have a team. Some people in India, some people in different parts of the world that kind of help me on development, marketing, different things. But when it comes to the actual AI, that's all me. I've
Okay.
kind of
So,
worked on building that skill to understand AI.
so what is it exactly that y'all do or like bring to businesses? I know you say voice first AI, and I mean, I kind of have an idea of what that is, especially just through, seeing your content come up on my page, seeing it reposted with the mutuals we have. But just one, so I fully understand it, and two, in case, anybody else has a question about what exactly it is that
Yeah,
means.
absolutely. So voice first AI is more like AI can come in many different forms, right? You have AI in the form of chat, like ChatGPT, and then you have voice where chat is translated, transcribed into a voice, and then you have video, image generation, and you have AI that works in the back end too for functionalities. The way AI works is that it all is kind of similar, and I made a YouTube video about this back in the day. It's one of my favorite, I guess, little short videos. Explains like how an AI agent works, and it's kind of like the human body, where the head, the brain, is like the model. So you have GPT-4o, you have Claude, you have Gemini. All these big companies are now making their own model, and models cost millions, if not billions, of dollars to train because you're stuffing this entity with data,
Yeah.
right? And that's why you have these huge data centers in the middle of nowhere that these people are buying, and just to train AI models. And each model can be trained for a different purpose, which is why some are good at some things, some are good at other things. And then the body of the AI is the tools it has access to, right? What can this model do? And that depends on what you, as the human, give it access to. And I say you, I mean, okay, businesses as well. Like when they build an AI agent, what do they give this model access to? So it could be as simple as giving access to your Gmail and then giving access to your Google Drive, right? Specific folders in your Google Drive even. And then say, hey, write me an email based on this, write an email to Jockson based on this document that me and him wrote together, right? So it goes, checks on Google Drive. Okay, let's see. Oh, this one. Jockson and Smart wrote this document together, summarizes it, and then uses the Gmail tool to send an email to Jockson, right? The body is only capable of doing what it has attached to it. So if you don't give access to certain parts of your body or certain tools, the AI agent with the model, as smart as it can be, can't really do anything. So a voice agent is similar to that, but it has the way it outputs data instead of text is just a voice. And it starts off being text, but it ends up being transcribed into voice, which is its whole own process. But I use a lot of tools like N8N, Make, Retail AI, Vappy to create custom voice agents for businesses that primarily get a lot of calls. Businesses where the calls maybe are very, very important to the business, but kind of get in the way, you know? So big clients are restaurants, contractors, healthcare clinics. Started off small, and I'm getting a bit bigger, like medium-sized company, working with an energy company now, and also a distribution parts company, right?
Okay.
So that does manufacturing. So they also get a lot of calls. And more than anything, I'm realizing now is that more than people, like this agent coming and taking all these calls, people value that data. Because you assign a VA, someone in the Philippines, to come and take all these calls for you. First of all, maybe their English is not so great. And no, they're getting paid a certain amount, and it's probably a very lower price compared to people in the US. But whatever they're doing while taking these calls, unless they're all recorded, even if they are all recorded, are you going to sit there and listen to all the recordings? No one's
Yeah,
going
at
to do
that point, you might as
right?
well have taken them yourself.
Exactly, right? So you have no visibility into what is actually going on these calls. You're just trusting that it's getting done. You look at the results afterwards. Okay, she took this many calls, she closed this many deals. But who knows? How do you make her improve? How do you let her improve? You know, those stats can't really be seen. So I like to build a system where it doesn't have to be all AI focused. I'd like to build systems that are AI x human, because there are things that AI just cannot replace humans for right now and probably ever in the future, and some that they can't replace right now, but eventually they will replace in the future, right? Or at least have another option for. So these medium-sized companies are now really valuing this data they get, where they can look at every call, look at every type of call. I got this many cold calls. I got this many calls from vendors. I got this many calls from customers. Among customer calls, I got this many calls about this product, this product, this product, this product, right? And companies who get a lot of calls really, really value that data. So the business is really changing, because initially I thought, okay, it must be so valuable for people just to take all these calls, and that's very true. And AI can do it for a very low price, but there's a lot more hidden things I'm realizing as I implement AI into businesses where they really find value.
So when you're saying you're implementing it call-wise, is it like AI is taking over the entirety of the call, or is it more getting you to the right place, scheduling a call back kind of thing?
Good question, right? And yeah, it's a bit of both, right? So I'll give you an example for the restaurant. The restaurant I work with, one of the big restaurants I work with is a bakery, and they're an Indian food bakery called Cake World, and they were getting a lot of calls. And I remember I was sitting in the restaurant, and I used to go there a lot because my family goes there a lot. We know the owners. And I realized that the calls were ringing, but they didn't have time to answer the calls, people behind the front desk, because they were attending to all the people in front of them. So calls are getting missed. I'm like, okay, cool, this is what I can solve right here. So I go and pitch the owners an AI system that can take all their calls for them. But I realized very, very quickly that, I built the system. There was issues kind of getting it connected to the POS, so I went around the POS because they use Toast, and Toast does not allow any integrations.
Yeah.
They don't care. So I built my own system that prints out tickets every single time a call is created and has a whole dashboard and everything. That's what I use a development team in India for. And when I started going live with these calls, I realized that there were so many different types of calls. The day I went live, that first 2 weeks was the most stressful 2 weeks of my life, because I was getting like 100 calls you know, every couple days, and a lot of them weren't doing well because the AI was kind of taking all of them. And then I realized that there are some calls that the AI should not take.
Yeah.
So the owner said, okay, we're cool with the AI taking these calls, but we only wanted to take it for Indian food orders. For the bakery, I don't want AI included in that. Why? Because people order some custom ass cakes.
Yeah.
And they order like weird cakes. Cakes with like half eggs or it's no eggs on this side and it had this kind of frosting and this weird topping. Like I'm sure AI could take it down. But even if AI takes it down, a human needs to be able to say, yo, we can't do that.
Yeah.
And there's a certain level of limit. When things get custom, it gets a little tough for AI. So I had to change it and I had to make sure that all orders for this specific reason, cakes, get transferred over to the humans, a cake specialist. But then it also, okay, how can I make this better where it will be better than it was before? That's always my goal. Is like, I want to make this better than it was before. So what I had the agent do is the agent will, if you call this agent now, if you call Cake World, and my agent will pick up, and you tell her you want to order a cake with this, 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 and this, she'll say, okay, transfer you to the cake specialist now. And when she transfers that call, she will relay that information in like 10 seconds to the cake specialist. Whatever was said. Hey, I have Sam on the call, and he wants to order a custom cake with chocolate and frosting on the top, and he wants to write happy birthday on it. Passing over that call now. Ding. Okay. So I think that's the best way AI can work. When it complements humans, when it works alongside humans, when there's a fat line in front and they're like, please, let AI take these orders. I don't have time to call on the phone and talk to customers and tell them all the options we have and go through everything. When I have all these people in front of me and I got to prioritize the in-person staff always.
Yeah.
So in those situations, I want AI to take 100% of that call. But in situations where a human needs to be on a line, I want AI to recognize that and efficiently pass over that call. That's the goal.
Okay. Which I know you kind of answered it, but just for the purpose of expanding on it, do you actually believe that there is no way, and I'm saying it this way because you just said you don't think AI can fully replace humans. Mm-hmm. Do you actually fully believe that there is no way in which the advancement for AI can completely remove the need for humans in the workspace?
You know what's so funny? I think it will.
You think it will?
I think it will.
Okay.
But
in every industry?
It's not about industries. It's about people and the way people think. The way AI will replace us all is not because robots will come running and shoot us all like an iRobot, right? It's that's a common misconception. We have too many, and if you're thinking about it realistically, right, let's talk about this realistically, right? The government has too many protocols in place to handle situations like this.
Yeah.
They have a protocol for aliens. So they definitely have a protocol for AI.
Yeah.
And things that they'll shut down when it gets too crazy. So I don't think that's going to be something that we'll face in the next 50 years or so.
Yeah. I tell people that all the time whenever they talk about like Terminator and iMovie. I'm like, you know what you never saw used? EMPs. Like, shut it all down.
Exactly. I mean, there's too many things that we don't know about. And we've survived as a country this far.
Yeah.
You think people haven't thought about AI like many, many years ago when these movies are coming out? Like, definitely, it's definitely a possibility. But outside of that, where the real takeover will happen is not physical takeover, but us becoming truly dependent on AI.
Yeah.
And where we sort of lose ourselves a little bit. If you've seen the movie Wall-E.
Yeah.
Like that. And it's kind of happening now. If you see like trends where the internet came along, and now if you ask yourself, when's the last time I wanted to research something and I went to the library and looked up a book about history and researched something about it? I mean, why would you when Google exists?
Yeah. Literally,
right?
like, it's saving time. And that's the most valuable thing you have.
It's like, even people who are, pushing like 70, 80 years old who never lived through AI. AI is like not AI, but like internet is like a small morsel of their life towards the end. Even they would definitely Google something now or go to a library because it just doesn't make sense, Same way, I could write this complex email to corporate, that I have to tag a bunch of executives on and talk about this complex idea and explain it to them. I can spend an hour writing this email and looking it over 5 times, or I can just ask AI to do it, and it'll do it way better than I ever could, right? Those questions are going to start popping up more. And an email is so arbitrary,
Yeah.
but when they start getting more and more complex and the stakes are getting higher, and you start handing off to AI more and more and more, that's when a dependency forms that AI will maybe take over the world where it starts running everything. But the crazy part is we asked AI to do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, AI is great if you know how to use it. Like, one of the biggest ways I use it is I like to do a lot of like swing trades in stocks where I'll hold a stock for, let's say, a couple weeks, couple months. I'll try to buy in at the lowest point, make sure it's something that's going to shoot up. ChatGPT now has an AI agent mode that can take over your desktop browser. Love using it.
Yeah.
I literally have like the perfect template set up. Every single time I use it, I'll tell it exactly what I'm looking for, exactly what I need based
What do
on
you use it
today's
for?
situation. The agent,
Yeah, most commonly, what do you use it for?
usually in-depth research. So any like
In-depth research, yeah.
in-depth business research, I just let the agent do because it's going to take me a lot longer to do it than it can. And you literally, it like lets you, I mean, I'm sure you're probably very familiar with it, but like it shows you exactly what it's doing, where it's sourcing from, and then I can go back and double check. But besides that, it's usually market research, business research, and then stock research because I can tell it based on today, based on the events that happened yesterday in the world, like the Israel and Palestine thing, like based on that and based on the fact that there's a ceasefire now, what stocks are doing this, what companies are showing quarterly earnings at this point, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, it's done a great job for me recently. It was like 2 months ago at this point. I told it exactly what I was looking for, what industries I was looking in. I told it to base it all on events that are happening, how it might play out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And as I did it, I also was doing my own research on the side just to kind of see whether I agreed with what it did or not. We came up with a lot of the same companies that I should buy into. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to do exactly what it tells me. And it actually worked out great. I mean, there's one, it's a company called Applied Digital. I bought in because chat said it would be a good idea. I bought in at $4 a share.
Wow, okay.
It's sitting at 40, give or take, depending on the hour of the day nowadays.
40
And
bucks
yeah.
for 4.
Yep.
And how long?
In like 2 months, if
Damn.
even that.
AI trades.
Yeah, like
I've never done that. That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
No,
Cool, I
it's
didn't even
the
know
agent
that.
mode. I love it, and then the deep research mode also.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But agent, it's more convenient for small, quick tasks. Deep research, I'll use if I really want to like get into something. Like with me, doing car sales. If I have a situation where I'm like, what's the legal fine lines here? I'll use the deep research mode instead of the agent mode. But
I see.
if I'm trying to, when I did get when I got the GM position, I spent a lot of time with the agent mode, just plugging in everything I was seeing, all the issues and holes that I saw, all of my ideas, and then just asking it to refine it based on its own market research. And then I would take my own stuff and what it gave me and kind of compromise and come to like a good in between.
There you go. Right. It's like sometimes it gives you so much information, and you need again AI to boil that information down to the
Yeah.
important parts, right? Like, because the deep research tool is something else.
Oh, yeah.
And I like that it takes its time.
Yeah, it takes a while.
It takes a while, and I like that because I don't need this information like this.
Yeah.
I'd rather you take your time and come back to me with something that's like actually cohesive,
Yeah.
and will give me more value in the long term.
Yeah, AI, it's very interesting to me because I have thought about it a lot, just being in sales. Because I feel like, and it might just obviously, be like the human pride in me, but I feel like AI could not replace a human salesperson to its full capability. But at the same time, it's very possible and honestly very likely.
You know
Except-
what? I completely agree with you.
Yeah, except I think when you see AI replace humans in sales, you'll see it die out. it's no longer going to be sales, it's just going to be customer service. So instead of trying to sell the product, it's going to become a volume thing. So instead of having
Yes,
salespeople that
yes.
try to make money and like, if I'm trying to sell you, let's say, some software for you to use, I'm trying to make as much money as I can off of you, benefiting both of us. That's what salespeople do. I think when it comes to AI taking over, it's going to be, let me get it for you as cheap as possible, make you as happy as possible, and I'm going to do it for 20 other people in the next 20 minutes because AI can work that much faster.
Exactly, yeah.
And then I've thought about it with lawyers and like law a lot because lawyers being human is a great thing because I know if I commit a crime and I'm wrong, but I hire my lawyer, his job is to take my side and do everything he can
Right.
to help me out. How able will AI be able to do that? How
Take a moral
capable?
standpoint.
Yeah, like how capable will AI be of actually going against a moral conduct?
You mentioned the sales thing, and that's funny because that's one of the things where when I started this business, right, I would post about it. I would go to people, and I would go to business. I would literally just show up at businesses and say, "Hey, I have this idea, or like I have this system that I built for your business. Here's an idea. How do you feel about this?" Because it was like early 2025, like January, February, and around there, like people didn't really clock AI for businesses.
Yeah.
They clocked ChatGPT, but they didn't know that you could build these kind of systems and actually use them. So it was very new. But the number one request when I had people come see my videos and come to me and email me and DM me, the number one request, especially from real estate, is can you build an agent that can cold call, right? That is my number one request. And when I first got it, I was like, hell yeah, I got you. That's easy. And I even have a YouTube video about it where I build an agent that can cold call because just through it's easy. I mean, like logically, it's easy to build,
Yeah.
right? You have an Excel sheet, give a bunch of names, phone numbers, information about them, their business, whatever. And you just go one by one and start calling them, right? And the agent takes into account all the context is given, and then how it'll follow a certain pathway. You know how salespeople they love to ask questions
Yeah.
to make the other person talk more. Figure out the pain point, attack the pain point, bring the solution. As beautiful as it may seem, in the real world, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Does not
It's hard for something so non-human to understand something so human.
Yeah. It's funny because I tested it out on some of my friends, some of my family members, where I would just hang out with them. And then I would just turn the AI on and ask it, and I would add their information on there. And just watch how they reacted when they got a cold call. And they'd like get a call, they pick it up, and they put it down immediately. The moment they hear like a voice that's slightly AI, they're like, hell no.
Yeah.
Didn't even get like 10 seconds into a conversation. And that's when I realized like there is a limit. You can't, the art of sales, when starting my own business, I had to learn this too. I never learned sales. I never learned marketing. And that is intrinsically human, right? You feel a connection with someone. You feel like they understand you, that they've been through shit, like they know where you're at right now. They can relate to you and you trust them because of that.
Yeah.
And with an AI, the moment you hear that it's an AI, you know that this is not someone that's human, has feelings, emotions, that has been down, has been up, How can I trust them with my business? Even if you could, you wouldn't feel that connection with them. And that's why I mean, maybe one day,
Yeah.
you know what? One day it will. One day AI will replace sales. Not replace sales, but at least be able to compete with the level humans can.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how. Maybe it's just by throwing data, so much data at an AI agent, at a model, that it just understands exactly the perfect thing to say at every single point.
I mean, even like having been in finance, just in car sales, AI and just computers already have replaced a lot of what humans are supposed to do on the sales end. Like, it used to be my job as a finance manager is to fight for you with the banks. You have this credit score, you want this payment. Now I'm supposed to not only close you on the car, but close the bank rep on giving you what you want. And now it's all like AI done. It's all done to an algorithm. I send over the information, it says cool, or it says nope, here's what we need. And now, I mean, you can still call a live bank rep, but most of the time, unless they really need the deal for the bank, they're not going to go against the AI. because the AI is programmed to minimize the risk for the banks. This is a high risk customer. There's nothing you can do that makes us want them.
Is in the end AI is data.
Yeah. And then like even CRMs, the second to last dealership I was at, we had a CRM that was very AI based. Salespeople sat around and did nothing. Like
Interesting.
the AI would text people through the day. It would text them like if they were like, "Oh, what's your address?" The AI responds. Like most things, the AI was doing. Granted, I hated it. I didn't think it was good because I would go through and like read it and see what it's doing, and I knew that if I was sitting on the other side, I would have done the same thing. I would have looked at my text and been like, "It's AI." It makes it hard as a human to come back after the AI has already done it. Once somebody sees it, turns their attention away from it, and then you try to be like, and then we got into arguments with the company that ran the CRM a lot because one of the texts the AI would send when it gets ignored is, "Hey, this is a real human. I'm not an AI."
No way.
And I was like, dude, tell me you're a fucking AI
That's
without me
crazy.
asking, please.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it works. Didn't see it work once.
Yeah.
But like, it's so hard to come back and humanize something after the AI dehumanizes it.
That is a good point. That is a good point. I've kind of meddled with that a little bit when I've created systems for like appointment setting. Where it's like someone interacts with an ad, appointment agent outbound calls that person, right? And then it's more like AI is better for that because they kind of want it. AI is not going to convince you want something.
Yeah.
That's sales.
And I'm sure it's quicker.
It's quicker. That's the thing.
Yeah, if you catch them while they're in that mindset.
Exactly. And that's my number one way of advertising it too. I'm like, hey, how fast do you call a lead? Maybe a couple hours, or sometimes we have a next day. We have Meredith that she calls them usually at around 9 a.m. the next day. I'm like, bro, that lead is dead.
Yeah.
So I built the system to tackle that specific problem more than anything. And what I realized is, it's if it doesn't call, it would shoot a text. But that automated text, even people who are not techie understand now like what an automated text looks like.
Yeah.
And then it's about kind of altering that text to say, hey, if I was a human, what would I send in this situation? And intentionally adding mistakes, adding spelling errors, adding little like lowercase everything.
That's interesting.
It's like not making it look perfect because humans are not perfect. Sometimes the best way to humanize an AI is to just make it screw up a little bit.
That's an interesting take because having dealt with AI so much in the car business, like this company, one of the things they did is obviously implement emojis, which I feel like every AI company is trying to do nowadays. But they would also implement like sending GIFs or GIFs, whatever you decide to call them.
That's crazy. Okay, yeah.
But so like it would send a text and then it would send it attached to the text, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's got to be a person, right?
Yeah.
But then they would respond, get an AI sounding text back, and then the lead was dead.
Yep.
And I hated that more than anything. Like I do love AI, but it's very hard. I guess in a sense it's hard to come across good AI because it takes people to make AI good. Like AI is, like you said, it needs a body. Like it works just like a human. If you take the brain out of a human, it can't really do anything unless you attach it to something. A lot of people are in it trying to just make as much money as possible as quickly as possible instead of solving an actual issue.
Absolutely.
I think it's very interesting how you just said the best way to humanize it is to make it imperfect, because that is very true. Like if I saw a text and it wasn't perfect, I would be like, okay, they might be human.
And honestly, I as someone who lives and breathes AI, who builds it for businesses, there's hard lines that I draw ethically about using AI. In the end, you and I, we don't really have the power to do anything right about this, but because we live in a country and a world that will continuously advance to be better than others, right? We're in an AI race now, India, China, Russia, US, just like space, just like internet, just like everything. These countries are now going to compete to build the best version of this technology as possible. So we're not in a future where we can decide really what can be used and what can't be used, even though that's going to become more and more of an issue. But I have, for example, I don't think AI should ever be used for any emotional reasons. Therapy. Like, I mean, as because it's the way it thinks, the way AI thinks is so black and white, it's so logical, at its core.
That one, I'm very finicky about that one, just because I'm huge on like psychology, philosophy, like just understanding the mind, especially as a salesperson. Like you have to be the whole when you really dive into sales, it's hard to live your life normally. Everything becomes a game of chess and like a big psychology battle with everybody. And the way AI does it, which again, maybe unpopular belief, but I think AI could make for better therapy than most humans could. Because
Really?
once you actually get into the sense of like, what is a therapist's job? What's a psychologist's job? Well, psychologists, their job is to just sell you big pharma. Therapists and counselors, their job is to sell you your own reality. They go to school and they get trained to sell you your own reality. They're salespeople to the self and to the mind. But sometimes that is not as helpful because if I'm sitting here and I'm depressed, but now I'm telling you it's because of this and because of that, but realistically it's just because maybe I'm unhappy with my job and I can't get to that. So it's going to be hard for you to get to that if I'm not giving you that information. ChatGPT, with it being so black and white and so neutral, and I've tested it myself. Like I've just like talked to it, tried to see what it would give me. And it may be different because it is molded to the way I think, but I've also had other people try it. Like I'll send them prompts and be like, type it in, let me know what it says and how you feel about it. But it gives you very real things. Like it's not going to do what a therapist does, where you go to them and you're like, hey, you know, I'm feeling a little suicidal, don't know what's wrong with me. And then the therapist is going to be like, oh, no, it's okay. We all go through that, and et cetera, et cetera. ChatGPT will literally sit you down and be like, that's completely normal. There's reasons for it. Help me understand you. Why do you feel so heavy today? What happened in the last week? It'll literally start, instead of selling you your own reality, it helps you try to understand it
yourself.
because at the same time, it's trying to understand itself. You have to create the consciousness for AI. So in doing that for itself, it helps you understand your own consciousness.
That is an interesting perspective. It's like, you know what? I think as guys, we're very logic driven
Yeah.
beings, right? So I bring a lot of my problems to AI too. I don't like to bring emotional problems, just because it's just like my hard line. But
Yeah.
with my business, with everything, I with logical problems, I bring it to AI all the time.
Yeah.
And I think, for a lot of guys too, we like our problems solved logically.
Yeah, we like them solved in codes and in yes and no's, ones and
Yes,
zeros.
exactly, right? And we want, and the moment we see a problem, we want to just fix it.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. That's what we intrinsically trained to do biologically. But then, we have women who sometimes, sure, they want things solved logically, but they also just want to be heard.
Yeah.
They just want to have someone who, I bring you a problem, and I just want you to listen to me. I don't want you to reply and give me an answer. I don't want you to solve it. I just want you to be there for me.
Yeah.
And that's something I don't think, that's going to be tough for AI to do. Understand a human, and instead of giving them what you think would logically be correct to give them what they actually really want and really need. And that's the emotion that AI misses. And will take some time for at least for it to get to.
Yeah, so I mean that as far as that, it does make sense. But just because it is such a coding and developing it thing, like I'd love seeing people use their chat GPTs because you see how it responds differently, even if you ask it the same thing, because it's going to respond to you, how you speak to it, et cetera, et cetera. If you do it right, it can be a resource. Now, the issue I see with it is where sometimes people might just need human contact. Like I've read so many stories online and, seen so many things come up of like people spoke to their chat GPT too much, fell in love with it, and then ended up killing themselves. you know,
Jesus
or like
Christ.
little
Yeah,
simple things like that. Like people lose that sense of reality because sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you don't see a therapist because there's actually something wrong with you. You just need human connection and understanding. And ChatGPT will fail in that sense.
Yeah.
And then I also, the one thing I hate about ChatGPT is, or not even ChatGPT, just AI, is how versatile it actually is. Because I hate seeing it feed into issues that are supposed to be going away but are now so much easier.
How so?
Like porn addictions,
Hmm.
all of a sudden, you know, there's the huge like porn block now. Like you have to verify your age and identity and stuff like that to like access porn nowadays, which I love the government did that. I've been saying we should do that for the longest time. Children should not have access to it. A lot of people cannot handle that much freedom with pornography.
Right.
Now there's AI porn. Now you can watch AI models that look completely real. You tell no difference. It's completely free. It's there all the time. It'll talk to you. It'll like mold itself to you. And obviously somebody's going to do it. It's simple. The best way to make money off men is to play on like their animalistic instincts, especially the ones that like have no moral conduct and nothing going for themselves. But how long is it till that becomes a bigger issue? How long until like, you know, our kids are probably going to be more tech savvy with it than we are? What are they going to have access to that we have no idea how
Can
it
they
works?
generate?
Yeah.
And like, and then you know, people who are more well known than us, right?
Yeah.
How are they? How are they going to find it when people are replicating versions? The celebrities, I think, are screwed.
Yeah, dude, there was
You know?
the when Drake and Kendrick had that like beef going on and Drake dropped a song that featured like Tupac and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
And neither of them really were on the song. It was
kinda
all
hard,
AI
too.
created. Yeah, like it was a great song, and it was like if I didn't
Like,
know,
what? Yeah, yeah.
I would have thought he like pulled some like hidden verse Tupac had or something. And it's crazy because literally like I've seen so many videos online of like AI impersonating celebrities, and you would never know.
See, on that topic, I want your opinion on this. How do you feel about AI versions of art? Any kind of art, musical, theatrical, image.
I like it. I like what it can do. And I like the fact that if we're going to move towards an AI world, it's not going to be lacking art. I just can't consider it art personally because to me art is something that has a lot of humanness to it. And it's not art to me if it doesn't have humanness. Like again, back to me being like a psychology and philosophy geek. Everything to me is very artistic. There is a beauty in everything that is around me.
Intentionality.
Yes, like everything has to be intentional. Like, and it just comes down to the simple fact of maybe, you know, I mean, we live in a world where art is literally so subjective that if I take a canvas and I just draw a black line on it, you might look at it and be like, what the fuck is he doing? But then I can go to the right auction in the right city that's going through the right things and sell that piece of art for $100,000 because to them it has a whole different meaning because it's all just how can you connect humanly without actually having to connect. It's like, you know, the pillows that are over there. Somebody made those as their own little form of art, digital, canvas, whatever it is, and then put it somewhere. And then it connected with, you know, whoever it was that bought that pillow and thought it would look great in the home because it's an addition. It's intentional.
The value is in the process.
Yeah. The
More than
value
the
is in the
result.
process and it's in the thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way too. I mean, sometimes you can't deny how great it is for for business, right? Like
Yeah.
when you have that's one thing I think AI has given us the capability to do is it's given the capability of anyone to do anything, or at least know what they need to do to get to where they need to be.
Yeah.
Right? It's a custom library just for you, you know?
Literally.
And you say, hey, I want to be a podcaster. I don't have the slightest idea how to even start. I want to talk, I like cars and I like movies. What should I do? And it will paint you a whole damn picture of exactly what you need to do. And you follow it, you will get closer to your goal, right?
Yeah.
Nothing like this has ever existed before.
And it helps you like just find so many things. Like the editing software I was just telling you about, I went into ChatGPT and I was like, dude, editing these podcasts has got to be the worst thing ever. Like, how can I make this easier? Give me how AI can help me. And it was like, here's all these softwares. This one is better at this. This one's better at this. This is the one I recommend based on your issues. And I was like, dude, that's perfect. Instead of having to cut it and make sure it's cut right and then like transition the cut, literally, you're going to give me the text. And all I have to do is like highlight the extra like that I started in and erase it. And now it's gone and clipped perfectly. It's perfect. Like, I literally click a button that says shorten word gaps, and now I can choose any silence longer than 3 seconds gets cut down to 2 seconds. It's perfect. Like, it makes everything so much easier if you actually let it guide you and use the resources.
Exactly. And I think the creators in the AI space who, this is one lady I watch, Cat GPT. Her name is Catherine, and I started watching her early in January, and she does a really, really good job of telling you people who are not techie, who are not using AI to code and stuff, like, how can they take advantage of this tool more than just writing their emails, right? You can get closer to your dreams by just talking to this technology. The number one way I use AI, and this is she said a similar thing, and I realized I was doing it too, is for my business, I use ChatGPT almost solely, like 90% for my business, right? So much so that I can ask it about myself and it will tell me everything about my business. I can ask it to create a resume for me. It'll create a resume for me like this with every single project I worked on, exactly what I did, the benefits, all that. It knows everything. And I don't let it too much in my personal life because I know what it has access to as someone who uses AI. So I keep it for my business. But the number one way I use ChatGPT is I yap to it. I yap to it like a motherfucker.
Yes.
And it has this voice feature. And let's say I have an idea about how I can help this one company do something, but I'm not really sure how to do it. I have the pieces in my head. I'll just click the button and I'll walk around my room for like 10 minutes just yapping to this thing about the ideas I have. And it just sits there and listens. And at the end, I'm like, just organize these thoughts for me. Click it.
Yeah.
And it'll just paint a picture of what I've just yapped about for 10 minutes into something cohesive that I can understand.
So do you like use the speak part of it?
I use that all the time.
So I've tried to, except I found it interrupts me a lot, and it doesn't work well with my ADHD.
Not the speak. The little microphone where you can create a voice message.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
it doesn't interrupt you.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
I use the one where like you speak to it, it speaks back to you.
I don't want anyone interrupting me. I just ramble for like 10 minutes and I let it listen, and it turns that ramble into text, right? And it sends a text, but it does a really good job of transcribing. Yeah. So you know what? I never actually used the actual voice feature.
It's very interesting, except it interrupts you a lot.
It's too Alexa-like for me. Yeah. I don't know. It's like, it's funny. I had my Alexa the other day say, hey, we got 13 new voices. Do you want to try one of our AI voices? And I'm like, sure. And I was like getting ready in the morning. I'm like, yeah. It always tells me these things when I'm getting ready in the morning. I'm like, yeah, why not? And now it has its own AI feature and they're coming out with it. So eventually Alexa and Google and Apple's taking its time, but they're all going to have their own AI versions of these voice agents. But ChatGPT's already done it. Yeah. So like, what more could they add?
Dude, and like talking about just yapping to it, I'm very new to like the Meta glasses. I got them one because I felt like it would be great for like content purposes and just like having it on me. But it's also so useful to have it as like just an assistant and just yapping to it. Because I'll catch myself doing that with the Meta glasses. I'll be like driving and I just like turn it on and then just start talking to it and it gives me feedback. And then I'll be like, can you write this down in a note for me? Or like, can you put this in my calendar before I forget about it?
It talks to you like the little speaker right here?
Yeah, so it literally has the speaker built in like right here. So if you have the volume down low enough, nobody can hear it but you, but it's very clear to you. Or you can turn it up and then like you would be able to hear it. But like literally just the smallest things.
And it's like, hey, Meta.
Yeah, that's it. You just tell it that, and then it'll turn on. Like earlier when I told it to set the timer. Like,
that was your glasses?
Yeah.
I thought that was your phone.
No, it was my glasses.
Oh.
So now it's going to go off and tell me that it's been, however long I decide to tell it to.
That's
or
dope.
When I go on hikes, I can literally just like, oh, this is gorgeous. Take a video for me, and then I'll be like, remind me to feed my dog when I get home. And little things like that, because like I'm so all over the place all the time, especially being, 22, trying to figure everything out, trying to make sure that like everything I'm doing business wise is running right. It's so nice to feel like I have just like, even in the slightest way, just a little assistant to keep me organized and keep me on track.
And easily accessible.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing.
Like, especially, dude, we're in the age of content. If you're not using social media and you're not using content, good luck getting your business to really take off and get anywhere.
Absolutely.
So it's really nice to just be like, in the middle of something, especially when I was in sales, like I love using my little Pocket 3. I used to set it up on my desk and then like take phone calls and try to record it, little things like that. It's a lot easier to just take the call and be like, hey, take a video. And it just starts recording.
And are they prescribed?
They can be. These aren't, but they can be.
Okay, interesting.
And then
'Cause I actually need glasses.
dude, no, they just came out with new ones.
Yeah.
Where like they have a built-in display right here.
Yes,
And then
I've
you
seen them.
use the fucking nerve band to like control it.
You watch MKBHD?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
that's my guy.
I was literally watching one where they were reviewing it and they had their hand in their pocket and they were like controlling the display. And I was like, dude,
So cool.
because that's what I thought about. I was like, how awkward would that be if I'm just like sitting there talking to somebody and I'm just like fiddling with my hands, like
It's like,
messing
bro,
with my
walk
glasses.
in, bro. Come on, man. It's like you're like actively distracted.
Yeah, yeah, but like you can do it while it's in your pocket. Like,
Yeah.
Wherever you're at, you can just.
It's like, yo, get your
And
hands out of your
this,
pockets.
It
What are you
helps
doing
me
in
with
there?
business a lot. Like just now, it just told me that I have a text message, and now I know from who. Like if it's really important, I know I need to step aside.
I didn't even realize it did that.
Yeah.
That's really cool, actually. Now I've been thinking about getting the AI, the Meta glasses, just for content purposes.
Yeah,
as you're saying.
no, they're great. Honestly, I definitely recommend it. Like I debated it for the longest time, especially because I was just like, I spent $800 on the camera. I've spent $120 per microphone. Bought 5 of them. Like bought a Galaxy to have on the side as an extra camera. A little like all this money I'm spending on all of these things, and I was like, do I really need glasses just because they have a camera built in? But then once I actually got them, so glad I did.
Do you feel like people call you out for it?
I have yet to be called out for it, but I'm waiting for it. I'm definitely waiting for it.
I was looking at it, I'm like, those look like the ones. I think they are, but I don't think he's recording me right now. It's like
But it lets you know when you're being recorded. So like you'll see a little, I forgot what side it's on. So like right now, it's telling you you're being recorded.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So like on the right side, it's not even a camera. This is just for like other people purposes. So you know that you're being
So you can
recorded.
cover it though, right?
Yeah. It's made to where if you cover it, it's not going to record at all. But like, there's things you can buy where it doesn't know it's being
Yeah.
covered.
Interesting. Yeah, and it's like that's another thing I'm very excited about is how AI integrates with hardware,
Yeah.
into our lives. It's very easy to put AI on a phone or a laptop or internet, but when it becomes so a part of our lives, integrated with our lives, where it's seamless, it's how fast can I talk to this agent right now? And this is the first step. I think Ray-Ban and Meta getting together, I think that's an awesome collab, first of all, because they both had their own niche.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, don't fuck with my niche. I'm not gonna fuck with yours. Let's blend together and make something great.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's like, it's ridiculous. Implementing it into everyday like wear is ridiculous to me because it makes everything so different. Like I know there's headphones now that you can put in and they have live translation, but you have headphones in. It's not like an everyday wear. Like you have to go out of your way to get the headphones and then start the translation. Dude, literally, they're glasses. They're literally, I could wear them all day wherever I'm at, and all I have to do is tell it to live translate for me, tell it what language, and then I know what you're saying even if I don't actually know what you're saying.
And then the fashion component comes in too,
Yeah.
right? What the hell does Mark Zuckerberg know about fashion? So
Yeah.
it's like this guy wears a t-shirt and jeans. So like then these collaborations, when you see companies that are just inherently not technology based at all,
Yeah,
combined with a technology company
literally.
to really produce something that the consumer wants,
And
will
it's
want.
everything. Like Oakley just partnered with Meta also.
Oh, that's
Dude,
sick.
now you can be
That's sick.
snowboarding wearing your Oakleys, like recording everything
Yeah.
POV, talking to it while you're snowboarding. asking it what the weather is going to be like later tonight, make plans for dinner, all while you're just doing what you enjoy doing anyways.
Does it connect to data? How does it?
So you connect it through the Meta AI app, and then from there you can integrate different things. So I can tell it to like respond to a message, and that's through the Bluetooth on my phone. But then I can like tell it to record something and post it to my Instagram story. Obviously, that's because it's Meta owned. And then I can hook it up to like my Spotify, my Google Calendar. It lets you choose what you want to integrate into it through the app.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm waiting for. I'm a huge Apple geek. You know,
I am too.
and I think Apple has been very behind on this race. I made a video about that too. It's just that Siri sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks so bad. It's like it wasn't even close to the other systems like Alexa or Google, and now it's even further back, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's one of those things where Apple, it's been a company that for years has taken its time and says, you know what, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to do it better. And it doesn't matter if I'm copying someone. In the end, you're locked into my ecosystem anyway, right? So you're gonna use what I have, and I'm gonna make it so that you're gonna love it. Just because you're an Apple user, it's gonna hit your pain points, number one. So I'm really waiting and looking forward for Apple's AI jump. Apple Intelligence, I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
It doesn't do
There's
anything.
no way that's where Apple wants to take it.
It's not. It's like, hey, just feed on this for now. It's a little bite, right? But you know, there was the video I made some time ago, it was maybe like a couple months ago, and it was the current CEO of Apple. He fired the guy behind Apple Intelligence, or I guess made some people behind the concept because they just weren't innovating like he wanted them to, and he put now the guy who made the Vision, AI, the Apple Vision.
Yeah.
He's now the new head of the AI department.
Honestly, I wasn't a fan of those either. For it
Those
being
are,
Apple, I think they were great. I think there was a lot they could do. I expected more out of Apple, though.
Yeah, me too. I think it's Apple in the end is a consumer. It's a luxury consumer product,
Yeah.
right? And when they always start up here, and then they bring it down to reality. So I understand. I have a lot of friends who use it, and have you used it before?
Not enough to really say whether it's good or not, but enough.
Have you tried the
to,
demos
like-
on it?
Yeah.
The T-Rex demo and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I first put it on, I was also talking shit about it. I was like, dude, this is $3,000. Like, that's insane. And then I put it on, and I was like, oh my God. I was like a little kid. I was like, this is kind of crazy. Because, like, the way they integrated with the real world, the AR, you know, augmented reality, that was really, really well done. You know, and it's not practical at all. And it was just made as a proof of concept more than anything.
That was kind of my big issue with it,
Yeah.
is there was no practicality.
No
Like,
practicality.
even just sitting at home, just like on the couch, it's still not very practical, honestly. Like,
Yeah, carrot is big old batter on
Yeah.
something, right? It's I think they just wanted to see how people would respond to AI. Not AI, but the vision space. And it is actually very similar to AI because I've had a lot of experience where we talked about this earlier, where I thought AI would react a certain way when interacting with humans, but it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's no way to prepare for that transition. You gotta just go into it. You just gotta like, okay, you know what? We're switching it now, and every call this number takes is gonna be an AI. Let's see what happens, and it's gonna be a clusterfuck in the
Yeah.
beginning. It is. It always is because people will talk to this thing expecting a human but getting an AI, right? And it's getting to the point where the AI sounds so human that people who are not very technically aligned, you know, who aren't around this technology all the time, will not really clock that it's an AI. And they'll be like, why is this thing taking like a second to respond to everything I say? You know, why is it not interrupting me? Why is it, you know, like certain things like that where it's a little bit weird, but it's not weird enough for them to like ask, hey, are you an AI? You know?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of these tools, I think we're going to start encountering it. Dude, for the first time today, it's funny we're having this conversation because for the first time today, I encountered a drive-through AI. I was at Wendy's. I was ordering a
oh, I
sandwich.
definitely have seen one.
And it was an AI. And I was like, I was ordering. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to test it out. So I ordered some stuff, and I was like, wait, I want to change this thing. And they said, what do you want to change it to? And they gave me the options. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I changed it to something else. I'm like, wait, actually, sorry. Can I actually get? And they just cut off my order. And I'm like, okay, your order's ready. I'm like, oh, okay. So after a certain point, it kind of just changes it. It understands that, okay, this is how much an AI can do. I'm pushing it forward. But instead of transferring it to a human, it just push it forward to the order's completed. You can just make whatever changes you want at the window.
Yeah.
And so I went to the window, and while the lady was giving me the order, I was like, hey, that AI is pretty cool. She's like, hell no. I was like, wait, you don't like it? Man, it always fucks up our order, man. Like, I hate that thing. I'm like, okay. So that's the customer opinion, right? Or at least the client opinion, I think a lot of these things, we think that AI is doing a better job. As a customer, like, we think it's cool, right? But then someone who uses it as a part of their business, there's a lot of flaws that come up. I think that's what we're trying to solve in the next couple of years is just fix that.
That goes back to like the issue I was talking about with like integrating it into the car sales space. Was the owners got pitched it, they loved it, sounds great, looks great on paper, it is perfect, but they're not in the building using it. They're not sitting here dealing with the mistakes it's making. They're not sitting here dealing with the customer's opinions on it. They're not sitting here dealing with its lack of like sales ability. And every single time we try to be like, let's get rid of it, we'll just go back to it. They're like, oh, but look at how many texts it's sending out a day. And we're like, yes, but you're not seeing an increase in sales correlating to that increase in text. So what's the point?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, but humans can't send that many texts a day. And we're like, yeah, but that's not the point.
It's not the point.
And AI is just so cheap that everybody loves it. Like, it is cheaper. That CRM system was probably the cheapest CRM system I've ever seen. And because it had...
What was it? What CRM system?
It was called Tacobi.
Okay.
And because it had AI, it did a lot more than most CRM systems do. To get a CRM system that does what Tacobi does, you're having to pay $5-6 grand a month.
Yeah.
And that's like... The CRM alone is $3,000. Then you're paying $3,000 for AI integration. Tacobi didn't have an AI integration. Tacobi was just an AI built CRM. It was like $1,300 a month.
Wow.
It's like ridiculous how much cheaper it is.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big thing that comes up. Is like, I can hire all these humans, or I can have one AI and like 3 humans.
Yeah.
And it's... And you asked me before, like, I guess, our previous conversations, like, what's the biggest misconception about AI, right? And I think a part of it is that AI can do everything, or the fact that AI, you can just build a system and it will just run forever. Absolutely not the case. As someone who's built them custom for people, like, I have issues every single day with the AI, messing up, or we're in early stages of AI. We're so early,
which is the craziest part.
Which is crazy. Yeah, exactly. The people who understand the trajectory of how exponential this growth has been over the past 12 months.
Literally.
Right? And if we continue that level of trajectory, who knows where this is going to be? But regardless, it's right now, at least, maybe in the future, obviously in the future it's going to get better. But it's almost like a baby. You train it, you create it, right, into existence. But then it still messes up. It still encounters issues, random stuff that happens, and it doesn't know what to do, and it hallucinates, right? And you have to pay attention to what these things are. And then a business will change as well. When a business changes, the employees around them will change automatically because we're human. We have our training sessions. Where's the training session for the AI, right? The AI also has to get updated. And that's something that I also encountered a lot is I realized that I need to start, I can't sell AI as a one-time, one-and-done thing because my client will call me back and they'll say, hey, we need this fixed or we need this changed. We're actually changing this. I don't know how the hell to change it on your system. Can you please do it?
Yeah.
Hey, our restaurant's closed for 2 days. Can you turn off the AI for 2 days or just make it say this message? It's very easy to. They think it's easy to make it say that message, but then I have to go back and completely rewrite the code and just create a different version of it just for that one scenario, right?
Yeah.
And it's more complex than it looks.
No, like literally with Tacobi, dude, we used to joke around about it all the time. We were like, we have to update it like 6 times a day.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the updates took like 5, 10, 15 seconds. We would just click update, it refreshes, and it's updated. But every single time we got on it, damn near, it was like bug fixed, update. And then eventually, like, if we get slow enough, we get bored enough to where we start just yapping. And we literally started talking about that. We were like, it's inconvenient and it's funny to us that it has to update all the time. But, like, it only makes sense. Like, AI is human made. Humans aren't perfect, so we can't expect AI to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, if we can't even manage to be perfect in ourselves, how can we create something that's perfect? It's gonna have to adapt and learn just like we do, because that's all it knows to do because of its creators.
What are you most excited for when it comes to this advancement? Something a concept you thought about, something that you look forward to.
Honestly, I've thought about that a lot. I've actually been trying to pinpoint exactly what I'm most excited about, but I feel like the two things I'm most excited for is just time that it'll allow for, and then the elimination of distraction. And that's just me speaking from like a business perspective, is how long until AI gets to the point where, even like with the AI advancements that we have now, you know, let's say me and ChatGPT spend a month together working on something like business wise, and we come up with something. How long is it until we can do that same amount of work in 10 minutes? And now I can do that 6 times a day and advance that much more. And then
The scale of productivity.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the distraction thing, it applies to the scale of productivity as well, because, like, you know, right now, it's still in the very early stages. So, you know, like the deep research part, how it does take a long time. And then, you know, you get a phone call and now you're distracted and now you're doom scrolling or whatever it is. Like, you know, you have to call people, do this, do that, you get distracted. How long until it completely eliminates the need for distraction? Because it literally like can go everywhere with you. That's what I'm excited for, is like having, and I mean, it may not happen that way, but I want to be able to like go to ChatGPT and be like, this is what I'm focusing on, this is what I need help with. Like,
Lock me in.
yeah, lock me in. And then let's say I do go to Instagram to respond to a DM that I have to get to. How long until AI can completely take over my algorithm to where I told it I need to focus on how to get more leads, and now everything on my Instagram was created by this ChatGPT algorithm. Now everything I'm seeing is helping me to my purpose. And then I switch to Facebook and it's the same thing. Everything except for the essentials. DMs, I still need to respond to. Things like that. But if it could completely take over an entire like interface, that would also be great.
It's the whole idea of MCP. Have you heard of MCP?
If not,
It's like Model Context Protocol. It's basically the idea that the AI, the body of the AI, like we talked before, it's just interconnected with everything. And instead of having an API connection where you manually connect Gmail and ChatGPT, and then Google Drive and ChatGPT, and Docs and ChatGPT, you can just have the system that just is already connected to everything. And it can just, like an octopus, just pull different tools and bring it together and achieve almost anything for you. It becomes essentially, and I think that's a lot more valuable for the consumer than the business, because the consumer is all over the place, where the business is, you know, sectioned and focused, and you can have different AIs for different things. But the person's all over the place, right? It's like the idea of Jarvis. Jarvis
that's
is
literally
the
what
idea.
I was gonna say. Is like I literally picture it being like Jarvis. Like that's what I mean when I say integrating it into everything. Like even let's say it integrates into Instagram. Now let's say I have no idea who you are, came across one of your reels on Instagram completely randomly, thought it was really interesting, forgot to save it. It would be really great if I could just be like, hey, I don't remember what his name was. I remember 3 days ago seeing this clip, really need that information again, and it can just pull it for you.
Yeah, honestly, it's where it just understands you. It understands exactly what you would need. And then, like, I think the crazy part is we're already there. We're like maybe a year or 2 years from that happening.
Yeah.
The hard part is, again, the hardware that comes along with it. Like, if we compare us to Jarvis right now, how far are we from Jarvis? The voice part, dude, a year or two from getting almost as complex as it is. Just give it more information. Give any agent more information, it will become like Jarvis, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that you can pull up stuff and like, oh, let me show you, and it pulls it up right in front of you, and the hardware, that hardware scales a lot slower than software.
And not only that, once it does come to be, it's like how long until it's practical? You know, like Elon Musk is going to have one. Donald Trump is going to have one. Like all of these billionaires and like millionaires are going to have the hardware before everybody that can actually benefit from it will. Because
Seems
not
like
everybody.
it's already coming though with the glasses, right?
Yeah, but
You know?
to like that extent, to like let's say tomorrow they were to be like, oh, we recreated Jarvis. We all know it's probably going to cost what a house costs. How long until it becomes practical? Like,
Yeah.
how long until you can actually go buy it and it actually be like a decent investment?
And
you
most
know, like
people have it.
$5,000 or something. Yeah.
And so it becomes like, and that's the thing where like I brought up Apple into a conversation because Apple in the United States, I know you're not actually, is that an iPhone?
Yeah.
Oh, is it iPhone? Okay,
My
yeah.
work phone is a Galaxy.
Okay, yeah,
and
that's
then
how
my
Galaxy
personal
before.
phone is an iPhone.
Interesting. But the whole idea of Apple is that they've literally conquered the market for at least people our age.
Yeah.
And that's because life is just easier if everyone has an iPhone.
Yeah.
Life is easier, like AirPlay, iMessage, FaceTime, go on and on. They built the ecosystem, right? When's it going to be the point where like life is just easier if you have your Jarvis? Dude, where is your Jarvis, bro?
Yeah, Apple is very interesting, and it's very interesting just for like the innovation and then the longevity. Like, I still see people pulling out MacBooks from like 2014, and they're doing great. I know if I had an HP from 2014,
Yeah.
I'd be like the whole Gorilla example. I'd be
Right.
like, I click it, nothing happens, and it's just ridiculous.
I think every company should take a lesson from Apple on
Yeah.
how they build products and the consumer needs they really target.
Yeah.
You know, as you're saying with the ThinkPad, not the needs that we think we want, the needs we actually want.
Yeah.
Even you could ask consumers about like what they think they want, and they'll describe a ThinkPad, but when placed with the option, they'll choose a MacBook.
Yeah.
So it goes a lot into product management, which is something I'm kind of studying right now. Understanding AI. I want to get into how do I build AI products in a way that is similar to how Apple builds products, like that are just so seamless that you can't see yourself living without it, and it just makes your life easier and better, without overcomplicating, adding more steps. You want to remove steps, not add steps.
Yeah. Which
So-
that would be very interesting to see how it plays into AI.
Literally,
Just
right?
because like AI is at this point, if you're using it large scale business wise, it can be really inconvenient depending on who you're working with. Like
use
if
it-
you're
yeah.
somebody that I can call and be like, hey, I'm having troubles with it and you're going to help me, convenient, cool. When it gets to the point where like, because there's going to be a point where you can just sell it as a one-time thing, figure it out. Kind of like people buy, let's say DaVinci Pro to like edit or whatever. They buy it one time and that's that. If you want a response, you're going to wait a week through email, stuff like that. But eventually AI is going to get to that point where you just buy it as a product, not a software.
Yeah.
If you
Productize
can make it,
yeah.
like, if you implement product management correctly, that can go so far.
That's what I'm trying to learn now. I realized I've been doing it for so long, unsystematically, and now I'm trying to systemize like what I've been doing, and try and do it in a way that has worked for other products over years,
Yeah.
and just use the same concept for AI because in the end it's just
Literally.
a technology.
Literally.
It's just a tool.
It's just like everything else we use. It's just about how convenient can we make it, how quickly. That's it.
Exactly.
But Honestly, that this is probably one of my favorite conversations I've had.
Yeah.
Just because like the whole AI space, it's so like it's interesting actually talking with somebody that's familiar with it. Like it's different talking to somebody and then being like, "Oh, well, this is my opinion and this is why I think that," compared to somebody that actually understands it at its core. You know how to build the body, why the bodies work the way they do, why the brain functions the way it does compared to the different bodies. Most people don't have that, so it's hard to truly like have that conversation.
Indeed, I'm not sure that maybe this is because you're someone who talks to a lot of people, a lot of podcasts, a lot of different industries, but as someone who doesn't have a tech background as yourself, you know a lot about this stuff.
Yeah. I'm
Like,
very interested in technology.
yeah,
Always have been.
you know a lot about it. I was very surprised because I've met people in tech who don't know half of like like who are not able to have this kind of conversations because they just don't understand. They're not even using AI even 25% of what they should be using it for, and
Yeah.
you already are.
I
And
very
that's amazing.
Tech really fascinates me. I
Amazing.
just it's never been something I truly dove into, but it always fascinates me. Even when you're talking about APIs or like machine learning, most people would have no idea what that means. I have dragged myself through learning how to use it, how to work with it. Like I've used AI to like code for me. Like when we got the Tacobi software at the dealership, when we were scheduling the demo call, at the end of the demo, first thing I asked was, I know that AI is always a letdown when it comes to things like this. Can we integrate into your API or not? And they were like, well, you shouldn't need to. I was like, okay, but if I do, can I integrate? And they were like, no, we don't allow that. And I was like,
that's a
okay.
question I asked a lot of businesses, man.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's a lot of questions. It's interesting you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah, like little things, dude. I even not to say that like I'm a huge gambler, but I like organizing my money. So like whenever I do like gamble on sports or like go and gamble on a little online casino, I literally used AI and used coding and like different APIs to create this like Excel sheet where I literally tell it how much money I put in, how much I lost, what I made, and it like tracks everything for me and it like drags it into the next month and like it literally automated does everything. And it all started with like a friend that was like, "Oh, I can probably make something like that for you." She made it. It was using formulas, and then I was like, "How can I make it more efficient though?" Like,
It's about having
yeah,
that mind to know that I have this tool and I have this potential. I can use it to write an email, or I can use it to literally change my life
yeah,
and the way I do things and make things more efficient. Find a process, make it, optimize it, you know? And people like you, people who are not in the tech industry, who are completely taking advantage of this because they're just, in the end, it's not AI that will take your business. It's the people who understand AI
yeah,
and are able to leverage it to create value for other businesses or for themselves.
yeah.
Those are
Even
people that are gonna
even with
conquer.
coding, I have a couple friends that like they do coding. They went to school for coding. That's what they do. But then it's like they only know how to use like Python or like certain types of codes. And then they get stuck somewhere. They need to bring somebody else in who knows how to code a whole different way. Every single time I'm like, dude, I can have AI help you code it and translate it. And like half by the time you find somebody, it'll be done. And I use that a lot. Like I know Google, for example, has like their own way they like their code integrated. Python code is it's not completely different, but they're all slightly different in the way they operate and actually understand that code back to you. People struggle translating that because you have to translate it just like a human language. AI, great tool for that. People just don't think about using the tools they have. Like even I took a coding class in school just like for shits and giggles, just to see like really what I could truly learn from it. Was killing it whole time. Teacher got mad because they were walking around the class and I was using AI to do it. And they're like, "We don't want you to use AI." I was like, first of all, this is an elective class. This isn't actually helping anybody graduate. We're all just here for fun. Your purpose is to prepare me for the real world. In the real world, this is how people will succeed. Nobody's going to succeed taking all week to do this assignment like they are. I'm going to have it done today. And it became like a whole discussion, and I ended up having to like do it without AI for the purpose of the professor. But it's like that's the difference.
Yeah,
Is if you
yeah.
learn how to use it, you're gonna thrive.
Just ask her to turn her Wi-Fi off and try and do what she needs to do.
Literally.
You know what I mean?
Like half the
it's-
teachers couldn't do anything without AI or the internet nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they use it for grading.
It's literally the same thing. It's history is repeating itself.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna see billionaires with AI, just like we did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And same spike is happening again.
I've used it to like, I don't use it to write my essays because you can always tell. Well, first of all, no, I have. So I discovered this trick where college, like, you know how it is. They'll like AI check everything. I have literally gotten to the point where I just tell it to make sure it sounds like me, pull from past things I've sent you, I've written, make sure an AI detector can't detect it. Every single time. Easy.
If you
But-
give it enough data, it will do a good job. You
Yeah.
know? And if you're doing anything writing, use Claude.
Yeah.
Use Anthropic.
You said Claude?
Claude, yeah.
Okay.
So, and Claude is by Anthropic, just like ChatGPT 5 is from OpenAI.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is very logic based. I have a subscription with ChatGPT. I use it for everything to do with my business. It retains knowledge much better. It understands you much better, right? You can memorize something you told it a month ago. And anything to do with logic or black and white, figuring out shit, ChatGPT. But if you ever want to write anything, even if it's simple as an email or even an essay or anything like that, like a research paper, whatever it is, Claude. Claude does an infinitely better job than ChatGPT.
Okay.
ChatGPT writes in a way, and I think OpenAI is actually trying to fix this. It writes so AI.
It does.
It adds emojis and the M dashes and all that stuff.
Yeah, I
But
hate that. I literally, every single time I tell it to do something, I have to go back and I'm like, dude, stop using the dashes.
yes. And then now like you can't even use a dash casually anymore.
Yeah,
You can't even
literally.
sometimes I'm like, dude, the dash is perfect here. And I can't even use it because now it looks AI written,
Yeah.
right? But Claude does a really good job of like making things sound, I don't know if unique's the right word, but authentic.
Okay.
You know, and I think it's free to use just like everything else. I would say, what you should do is next time you have to try to write something like an email or something like that, send the same prompt to ChatGPT, send the same prompt to Claude, and compare differences. And Claude gives some information. It won't understand your long-term context as much as ChatGPT does, but if you give it a level of context about what this email is going towards, here's some context about the project, whatever it is, blah, 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 write this email, right? And then ChatGPT, it already has that context, and you can just kind of give it the same thing and test it out for yourself. Even test Gemini in there too.
I also really like Gemini.
Gemini is really good.
Yeah.
It's quick. Meta, Llama, test that as well, right? Like, test these AIs for yourself to figure out what you would like to use for certain parts of your life. And it's not like you have to pick one and choose one.
Yeah.
Like an iPhone. You have all these tools accessible to you. So, and make the best of it. Right?
Yeah. So, just to kind of close it off, obviously there's a lot of people that aren't on the AI bandwagon. If I told you to bring out your inner salesperson now that you have been working with AI as deeply as you have, what would be like your 1-minute pitch to sell me the idea of AI?
It's not even an idea anymore. It's here, and the fact is, it's been here, but it's been behind the scenes. When you have your autocorrect AI, when you have Netflix giving you your best recommended AI, when Google search completes something for you, AI, right? Now AI has come to the front screen because of ChatGPT, because now it's become a consumer product, but it's always existed. And in the end, as I said before, it's not AI that's going to take your job. In the end, AI has to work with humans. In our lifetime, we're not going to see, AI completely taking over an industry from, 100 to 0 people working there. There's going to be people involved, but those are people who know how to leverage AI and how to work with it. So the best thing you can do for yourself is understand these tools, follow the creators who talk about them, just get more in the space, because there is a place for AI to help you, regardless of what you're doing. Even if you feel like you're the most artistic person and you hate it, there's a way that AI can make you better. You just have to go out and find it. And the best way to do that is interacting more with AI, talking to AI, and figuring out how it's the best companion and helper, an aid for you. It's individual for every person.
Might be because I'm already sold on it, but I mean, if I'm sitting there face to face with you, close me.
Yeah.
Because I never really thought about that. Like most of those things are smaller versions of AI. Autocorrect, Netflix, For You pages. Like it's literally been everywhere for the longest time.
It's been here.
We just didn't talk about it.
And now we're talking about it. So now it's here, and it's gonna be here, and it's not going anywhere. And that's another thing too. It's like a harsh reality where these businesses are going to start adopting it. People are going to start adopting it. They're going to start wearing glasses and knowing things and doing things that you're not capable of doing.
Yeah.
You're still on the internet. I give the internet is such a good example because, like, would you just turn off your phone if you're an Amish and you're not using Wi-Fi or anything like that? Then sure, that's an active choice. But if you want to be someone who gets ahead in whatever industry you are, you need to adapt to whatever's coming at you.
Yeah.
And there's, regardless of anyone who has any say in anything, AI, the development of AI is not stopping. And as much as, we talked about the qualms I have with AI, the ways I feel like AI should not be used, there's no power that I have to stop it.
Yeah.
So in the end, this is a force that's coming our way, and the best thing you can do is prepare yourself for it and take advantage of it and leverage it for yourself and for your business.
Literally. There's not much more to say about it. It's
There you
just
go.
kind of, it's the same thing as the internet, like frenzy, the computer frenzy, phone frenzy. Just got to take advantage
Just
of
have
it.
more conversations
Yeah.
about it. Have more conversations. And in the end, humans are going to be the one that pull this technology to be something great for us. So the more conversations we have, the more people outside of the tech industry figure out ways to use technology like this to make the world a better place, instead of letting people who only care about making money use the technology. The better the world is going to be. I
Yeah.
feel, like in the end, people who want to make a lot of money, as you said, will leverage a tool for volume use and for scaling and make a lot of money from it. Do you want that to be the only way that AI is leveraged, or do you want to make something great of the world that we have? And that comes from people like you who are not in tech, people like who are very artsy, people who would never use technology like this, really finding a way to take advantage of it.
Yeah.